MTV/Portraits of Biography as well. I'm your host, William McKee, and don't touch that dial. Whatever you're doing, put it down, stop. We have a nationally known celebrity in the building. We don't chase celebrities, but we got one today. And his work is significant, meaningful, and impactful to our community. So it's not just his celebrity stature, but it's the content of what this brother brings to the table. We have in the building all the way from MTV, so hashtag MTV. You grew up watching it, I grew up watching it, saw my first music videos on there. From MTV, we have none other than life coach, influencer, brand developer, brilliant brother, Mr. Ken Canion, in the building today, Ken Canion. And he comes right now, amongst all of the great things that Ken is doing, one of the biggest right now is his show on MTV, which I just said, Unfaithful, Caught in the Act, which is Tammy Roman and DJ Envy, starring right alongside Ken Canion, and we have him in the building today. But unlike Tom joining on the show, we do shout out. So a big shout out to Tom. But would like to thank, starting off with Spot TV, big fan of Spot TV and the great work they've done over the years. Just love them. And we also like to thank Osmotic Multimedia, Mr. J.E. McCoy, Tony Brown, Ray Bynum, Kevin Moraney, the whole crew at Osmotic. And we love them for the work they've done over the years. Miss Rosalind Simpson, Miss Everything, who is had a great part of putting this show together and other shows and other projects. And anybody else that I forgot, charge it to my head and not my heart. And I might think of it by the end of the show and interject it there. But without further ado, let's get to this awesome, and like I said, Ken is a world-renowned influencer. If you go see him on IG, he's got over 200,000 followers by now, by the time this show airs. I'm one of them. And I did not seek you out today for a free consultation. That's not what I did. Although with relationship issues, which is one of your specialties, I could be a case study for you on how not to do it. No, can we edit that? No, just joke. But so no, with your life, we don't want to, without further ado, we want to jump right into it. And for those of you who've never seen Biographies TV before, it's a show where we educate and inspire and hopefully entertain the lives of outstanding people in our community and in our world. So we do a life story on a particular person. Today we have Ken. So Ken, welcome to the show, first of all.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Wow.
I was wondering who you were interviewing, who you were talking about a minute ago, and I was like, oh, that's me. Okay. No, but thank you for having me.
I forget which comedian it was that said that they gave an employee their resume, and I believe there must have been some yeast put in it. So I heard so he turned around, looked at, who are you talking about? No. but that's just 1/10 of all of the great things that you've done, and I appreciate your humble nature. But the reason why this is special as well is because when you're giving your talks on IG or Facebook or even when you're on MTV, I see a lot of people that want to know about you. Because when you have the Tony Robbins, the Les Browns, you want to know, what's your life like? So, and I see people ask you that, and we got that exclusive. So shout out to us. You about to say something?
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, they do ask, because I do give advice on relationships, and so first thing people want to do is say, well, are you married?
Right.
You in a relationship.
Exactly.
Because there are a lot of people out there who are delivering information, who are feeding into people's lives, pouring into people's lives, who really don't have the very thing that people are seeking.
Yeah.
So I'm proud to tell them, 21 years to my best friend, and so we start from there. So when I break that wall down, I'm like, some of them just want to throw shade. So I'm like, what's next?
Right. And that's your awesome wife, Simply Nick.
Yes.
Who's a phenomenal comedian.
Yes,
in her own right. So a real power couple. And I saw one of your viewers, one of your fans that went in with you on that. It's like, well, Coach Ken, what do you practice this or something like that? They might have asked you.
Right,
one week.
right,
I said,
right.
well, so, your life. Let's start at your birth. Where were you born?
I was born in Atlanta, Georgia, and I never forget it. I was born on Garden Road, you know, and my dad, it was an apartment called Gordon Village, is what they say. But I was born in Atlanta, grew up in Atlanta, and up until leaving for college, I spent all of my youth in they call it the A now.
Yeah.
But it was Atlanta then.
It was.
Yeah.
Hashtag ATL.
Hashtag
Atlanta. The SWATs. Are you from the Southwest?
Yeah, well, I was Southwest Atlanta. They have different parts.
Don't let me get you in no trouble.
No, different parts. I grew up near Greenbrier Mall.
Yeah.
Yeah, Greenbrier Mall. Went to Thurl High School.
Right.
And over in that whole area, Southwest Atlanta, that was just our stomping grounds. And then there were other schools on the periphery. You know, like,
The Supplemental Security Income Program provides monthly payments to help meet basic needs, like putting food on the table, paying the rent, or buying new shoes for growing feet. You may qualify if your income and financial resources are low and you are 65 or older, or an adult or child with a disability or who is blind. Call 1-800-772-1213 or go to ssa.gov/SSI to start to apply. Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Yeah, Biographies TV. I'm your host, William McKee, and we have the internationally acclaimed Ken Canion, in the building, relationship coach, influencer. So we left off at, and let me say this again, you're ministering to the world.
Yes.
And you're very humble, brother. I love that about you. But as an African-American man doing this, dealing with relationships and marriage, you've been sent for a time such as this for a special mission. And you make it fun. When I'm watching your segments, I get lost in the instructive entertainment of it, but I come away with nuggets that just bless my life. So I got a free session out of you. But anyway, in high school, we're in high school.
Yeah.
Athletics, academics, socially, and this football player emerges that's worthy of some recruiting opportunities, right?
Yeah, I did. In high school, at the end of the day, it was important for me to get my grades, and my dad made that a prerequisite to do that. But I love football. I loved it. I just loved what it represented. I loved what it helped me to become. And then, you know, when I was afforded the opportunity to have 6 scholarship offers to go, and this is the part that you need to know.
Okay.
The people listening, I got recruited by PWI, predominantly white institutions, but it was my dad who came to me and said, son, I think you ought to go to a black school.
Wow.
It wasn't HBCU at the time.
Right.
I was like, cause you know, I was like, I want to go to a PWI, be on TV. But my dad told me this, he said this, I'll never forget it. Just nuggets you think you wouldn't know.
Right.
He said, listen, he said, you're going to get far more than just football if you go. So when he told me that, I was just driving one day and I thought about it. And then I came to A&T. I went to Tennessee State and A&T. At the time, Tennessee State was okay. They were winning. A&T wasn't winning at the time.
Right.
But when I came, the family environment, when I tell you, I felt the energy. And on the way back, on the way home, besides there's some pretty girls up here too, on the way home, I told the coach, the recruiter, where do I sign? One of the best decisions I ever made, besides accepting Christ and picking my wife, but coming to an HBCU and what I learned and who I've become in the process is immeasurable.
Wow, you made reference to your faith. You made reference to this educational decision that your father guided you toward.
He got it because I was like, he's like, I can't make the decision for you. So
Right.
he said, but I just want you to consider this.
Yeah.
And I just, and as I was riding one day, it just hit me. I think I need to consider this because there is a part of me beyond football. See, people don't think about a lot of young men. They think athletics, even if it lasts 4, 5, 6 years. Say if you go pro, if you are fortunate enough to go pro and you get 5 years in the NFL, you're still young.
Yeah, right.
You're still early 30s, though. You got the rest of your life. But who you become is what's going to go with you.
Wow, that is a PSA for North Carolina A&T State University.
Yeah.
That should be on a commercial. And you're talking about motivation, something for a young scholar athlete to think about when they're making that decision on, particularly in lieu of the recent Supreme Court renderings that came down a few weeks ago about the admissions criteria and standards afforded to Ivy League selection processes. So really something. Oh, that was beautiful. So you make this decision to come to Greensboro.
I did.
You leave the ATL.
Yes.
Come into the big city.
Yes.
I got you to say yes.
It wasn't as big as it is now. It's growing, but it wasn't as big then.
Right. So you were signed by Coach Mo Forte?
Mo Forte was the head coach at the time. Never forget Coach Rayford Petty. He's still living. He came to my family's, and here's what he said. He sat in my home and told my father this. He said, "We're gonna build a champion, and your son will help us do it."
Wow.
I said, "Where do I sign?" And that's what we did. We won the first MAC outright championship my 4th year, which would have been my junior year, because I got redshirted 1 year.
Right.
Before I left, and everybody, they sold every young man that same dream who signed that year.
Wow, and I witnessed you guys do that, and my uncle was commissioner of the MEAC back then.
Great guy.
I was telling you,
Great
Ken
guy.
Free. And so I had that MEAC pass to all the games.
Great guy.
Alan Hooker,
Yes.
Herb Harbison, wasn't he on some?
Herb Harbison,
Jesse
Alan
Britt,
Hooker, Jesse Britt,
Stony Polite,
Doom, aka his old name was Ernest Riddick,
Yeah.
Akinyele, now, but we called him Doom, and Frank Newman, a whole litany of
Frank
guys
Newman.
who were instrumental in helping build the legacy that they have over there now.
That's right, and you know, you make that choice, and which I'm a WSSU rank to the heart.
And we hated y'all, but I love y'all because y'all HBCUs.
That's
but that's what I loved about it. My first game was against WSSU. I had never seen that many people in one stadium. At Grove Stadium, it was 40-some thousand people there, and I was like, this many black folk in one area.
Wow.
And ain't no fights.
No.
There ain't no fight. And it was just that the environment was electric. And that's why I was like, I'm in the right place.
Right. So you're a expert on subject matter expert on marriage. That marriage between scholar athletes like yourself and that institution on Market Street, it's a jewel in the crown of North Carolina. We can't deny that.
Sure.
But and now you're on MTV teaching the world. And Alan Hooker, for example, his son is with the Detroit Lions now.
Yes.
And so this young man from the ATL, the home of Outkast, Goody Mob.
I'm an ATL.
You know,
ATL.
Yeah. So, and I tell people, you know, the planting of HBCUs in these sleepy southern towns.
Yes.
You take those institutions, the Bennett colleges, the Spelmans, out of these towns.
Oh,
the world is drastically different.
Drastically different.
Do so many giants.
Right.
We're coming up on the end right now, and we could do 5 shows.
Yeah, we could.
We could do a corpus with you. If you had to say, and I want to tell everybody, make sure you check Ken out on MTV, on your area stations.
Right.
He's on Caught in the Act.
Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on MTV. You know, I'll be there.
Tammy Roman is a team. DJ Envy from the Breakfast Club.
Yes.
The legend himself. If you were talking to a young person out there, you talk to couples all the time.
Right.
And I'm gonna talk to you about how to put my idea of having a successful relationship together.
Okay.
Relationship coaches don't laugh at the person.
I like it. I want to hear it.
Okay, but aside of, what would you say to that young person? What we do on Biographies TV, we always kind of end this way. What would you say to that young woman, that young man out there who's about to give up on life? What would you say to them?
And I would like to speak to the camera directly. There are people out there. Just realize this, that each one of you have a purpose. There's a reason that you exist.
Yeah.
There's a reason that you were born. Now, when you look at your circumstances, it may not look good. But I'm gonna tell you, anybody who has achieved anything in life, it didn't look good at some point in their life.
Right.
And so what I will say is this, I often say that God knows what he's doing better than I do. Better than I do. And all of the things that have happened to me that were not good helped me become who I am today. And those things are going to shape you, because everything is necessary. You're going to need it all. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Because when you have it all, you have a perspective to teach from, to grow from, and then show other people how to be better.
And then show other people how to be better.
Yeah.
Ken, I want to
Thank you, my friend. Thank you for having me.
Oh man, it's been an awesome discussion. I'm sure people glean so much from your life and from your inspirational aura. It's bigger than just a message, it's an aura, and I thank you again. You've been watching Biographies TV. I was your host, William McKee. So glad you joined us. Until the next time, keep the faith. You're tuned in to Biographies TV, Portraits of Biography, and you can find us on Cable Access 8, GCTV, for your viewing pleasure, and also we're shown online too on the Biographies TV. But to kind of round out your college experience, and I gotta make sure I don't get so enthralled into the story that I miss my cues. I got too into it. But because I'm sure, and you know, maybe it's the son of an athletic director, the revenue aspect, the institution building that athletic does to an entire university, it's the missing piece. When you look at a Duke, there's some precipitous event that happened. And in this case, it's the choice of a Philadelphia youth. I gotta come back to that because I don't think people know. And there's books there on there, that, as you said, just so you, the All-America manifestation is happening. All-America there. I'm gonna fast forward for the sake of time. We're coming up on the last segment. You have this great career at Duke. All-American 2 times. Okay, you slammed on Ralph Sampson. Big ups to Ralph, no disrespect.
He's probably watching.
He's probably watching. Big ups to Ralph. We love you, Ralph.
He's my brother.
Yes, y'all are. And the thing that you, Derek Wittenberg, Ralph Sampson, feel forward that y'all do every year is awesome. To kick off the bracket, NCAA brackets. You have this great career at Duke, and now it's draft time. The kid from Philly. And we see now what's on TNT and ESPN of draft day. You're in the green room, you got your family there, your life is about to have a quantum leap in income, additional visibility. You're living that rare life, and 0.1% of the people of our planet get to enjoy. What was it like coming out of Duke, waiting on the draft?
Now here's the thing. That whole thing was a total different, another story. Because you got to remember, we played North Carolina A&T in Cameron Indoor Stadium my senior year in the NIT, the first round of the NIT. We're playing against North Carolina A&T. A&T is coming to Duke, playing in Cameron. We're playing them first, Coach K's first year. Okay?
Right.
I go up to block a shot. My legs get cut from under me. I'm up maybe 10 feet in the air. And I reach down, and my hand hits the floor, and I snap my wrist totally in half. I broke it in half. Now I just started out playing against A. I loved it because A&T came down. They was coming down with the band. I said, I told myself, I said, I told my white teammates, I said, y'all white folks don't know what y'all gonna see when the band come in here and them chicks come in. I said, y'all ain't seen no soul or no funk until wait to see if they come in. I said, I can't wait to play in this game. And I started out 7 for 7, and I was gonna have one of those games, and I broke my wrist right in the first half. And to tell you what that was all about, now that takes me where I can't play anymore. I had to get surgery the next 2 days after that.
Yeah.
The NBA draft is coming up in 4 months. 4 months. So I get the surgery by the late Dr. Frank Bassett. I got a cast on my wrist. Before the draft came up, the Lakers, here's a funny thing. Certain teams flew me out there because the Doc Bassett said he didn't think I would be able to compete with this type of injury in the NBA. So my draft stock went from possibly being the 5th pick or 6th pick to 28th pick because of that. The Indiana Pacers flew me in to take a look at my wrist. The Los Angeles Lakers, here's some history for you. Guess who picked me up at the airport to take me to the Lakers doctors to take an x-ray and look at my wrist?
Dr. Buzz.
Pat Riley.
Pat Riley.
Pat Riley picked me up at the airport. He was working as an assistant. He picked me up at the airport and took me to the doctors.
Wow.
And they did a scan to see if I was, and then I didn't go to New York for the draft and stuff. I was in my boy Mel Parker's place. Isabel was with me. My friend Mel Parker. And it was just us, we were watching. And I'm watching these guys go before me. Albert King, Mark Aguirre, all these guys, and I got despondent. I almost wanted to cry.
Because you come out of high school ranked over all of these names. These great names.
But it wasn't so much the high school, it was the college career, playing against them in college.
That part as well.
You know, I led the ACC in scoring, all that stuff.
Right.
Now I'm seeing my name, but I also knew that was because of the wrist situation. But it wasn't my shooting wrist, it was my left wrist.
Right.
So I'm dropping. My name's not being called at all. It hurt. And Bell's right there with me. Sonny Hill was with me.
Wow.
Sonny Hill came in the door. So we're watching this on TV.
So for the viewers, was the draft, did the top players go to?
Yeah, the top players go to New York.
They still did that.
But we weren't sure what my position was going to be because of they're flying me around to see how my wrist was and so forth.
Is that why you chose not to go?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Okay.
So, make a long story short, they recall, and I'm sitting there, I'm getting despondent. I mean, I'm like, wow. San Antonio Spurs had the 28th pick, and it was the first pick in the second round. And they said, well, for the second 28th pick, the San Antonio Spurs picked Gene Banks. And I was like, okay, great, I got picked, you know. But I felt all these guys going in front of me, it really hurt my spirit and my heart. And then I got a call from Bob Bass. He called me up and he had behind the scenes, I don't know, it was like a whole auditorium of people. And he said, we are the luckiest, we got a first round pick in the second round. He said, and we love you. We can't wait till you come down here. And that lifted my spirit up.
Wow.
That lifted my spirit up. And here I'm going to go play with the great Iceman Gervin and the whole 9 yards.
Iceman Gervin.
That changed, you know, that's why I say, if you want to talk to kids and people about adversity, that was major adversity for me, you know, and God, you know, God will swipe your feet at me and make you learn something from it.
So we got less than a minute, and so much more to discuss.
Always did.
Because those dots there, people may not know.
They have no idea.
Yeah.
Because to get to where I got to become a starter, that's another story. You know, my first year I came off the bench, but that, like I say, I mean, I'm not trying to sit up here and give this a great story about, but God's power, we're gonna wrap this up, I know, but this thing is, with my story, when it comes to that, not so much persevere, but he's always been steering me.
Yeah.
Even all the stupid stuff I've done or may do, God has always been there, to always been giving me that strength to keep going. And I become a starter and become an all-star ballot and all that stuff, even through the adversities and stuff. I mean,
well, I tell you, we got more to do. Maybe it's in print. But I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
This is a legendary story, a global story, a story of a roller coaster ride. But what you've done with your platform and the people you've helped and influenced is a lesson to all. So thank you, Gene, for coming on.
Thank you.
And
Cousin.
Yeah, cousin, we got to do this again.
And they don't realize we really are cousins.
Yeah, truthfully,
Yeah.
really. Thank you again. Thank you for watching Portraits of Biography, Biographies TV. Until next time.
Thank you.
Join Save the Children and get fed up. Fed up with the lack of progress. Fed up with the injustice. Learn how you can get involved in the fight against childhood hunger at savethechildren.org/getfedup.
This is a Wise Guy exclusive.
Spot TV, Gen Z on your screen, don't touch that dial. This is the show that you gotta go tell all your friends about. After only one episode, it'll have you looking like wow. Spot TV, Gen Z, tune on in. We on your TV, and tell your friends, we got what you need. Spot TV, Gen Z, it'll make your life complete.